Oh, this so infuriates me. Oh my goodness. So dumb. So a lady I'm working with, we'll call her Penny. All right, so old Penny emails me, and Penny's crushing. You know why she's crushing? Because I worked with her. The people who are crushers, they work with me. The people who are being crushed, they don't. So do you want to be on the side of the being crushed or the side of the good guys who are crushing? You want to be on our side. Anyway, so Penny reaches out to me after we did our plan, and she's kicking ass and taking names. And she goes, I watch this channel on YouTube and normally find his videos helpful. This morning, I watched the subject video, and thought the statistic he used for a percentage of retirees who will need long-term care was 70%. And he said you need to budget $300,000 for your long-term care expense because 70% of retirees are going to need long-term care. And the average cost is $300,000. Oh my goodness. I'm like, it's painful. Let's just start with the basic premise. First of all, the idea you need a lump sum in today's dollars to cover your long-term care. How much would it cost to have a lump sum for my food? All right, so I don't eat breakfast. You shouldn't eat breakfast. Breakfast is all based on what Edward Bernays or something like that in the early 20th century came up with the idea of breakfast. You need breakfast. You need breakfast for Wheaties and all this crap. You don't need breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. The first meal I had today was just about an hour ago. I had a quarter inch, inch and a half New York strip choice that I got from Costco. And, I'm not a full carnivore, but I eat mostly carnivore. I still like bread. I still like some junk food, but you don't eat breakfast. But anyway, still, New York strip ain't cheap. So let's say for your old buddy Josh, it costs $25 a day to eat food. All right, so what I do is you take $25, you times that by 365. All right, that gives you $9,125 is going to cost for this year alone how much it costs to eat. 9125, we do that as our payment. We do zero future value. We're going to say 4% is our interest rate, and we're going to do it for 30 years. And our present value means I need about $160,000 in today as a lump sum to cover my $25 a day eating habit. No one does that. No one says that. How much would it be for property tax? Well, if I had $7,000 a year property tax, I'd need about another $150,000, about $135,000 to be precise, for property tax to cover my $7,000 a year property tax with a 4% interest rate. No one does that. It's stupid. It's stupid to do like that. And yet for healthcare, because Fidelity, you need $380,000 to cover your healthcare costs, and that doesn't include your long-term care expense. It's just so freaking stupid. And just people who use that, oh my goodness, it drives you up the wall. All right, so then we went to, I emailed Penny back. I said, I gave her my playlist on long-term care stuff, and I don't even really put videos in playlists anymore. But anyway, and there's like 28 videos long or something like that, and then I gave her a couple that I said, these you probably want to start with. So anyway, so let's just go into the horse's mouth here. We're going to go over here to Morningstar, and Christine Benz over at Morningstar does this topic every year, about 100 must-know statistics about long-term care. Now, this was in 2020. All right, so this one was better than she had done previously. And I don't know if, I gave it to her in 2019 about the 2018 one she had done because it says completely misleading, completely. And a lot of the links were no longer valid and all that stuff. I mean, in terms of it was just dead links and stuff. I said, come on, man. I expected more out of Morningstar and Christine. So this one is better. I'm not saying she upped her game because your old buddy Josh, but either way, it's a better information dump here that she has. But again, if you don't understand it, you'll be like taken away like this guy on YouTube. Like, oh my goodness, we're going to have 70% of the population needs long-term care. You better have 300,000. It's so freaking stupid. I despise it. All right, so let's look at what Christine says. First thing that jumped out as interesting to me here, let's check this out. All right. Even though just 1% of the U.S. population resides in a long-term care facility. 1%. Let's just assume all those people who reside in a long-term care facility are over the age of 65. What's the percentage of the U.S. population that's over 65? Right here, 16.5%. And by 2060, or right here, 16, I don't care. We're going to say 17% of the U.S. population is over the age of 65. And we'll just say of the 1% of the entirety of the U.S. population, they're all over the age of 65. And they reside in a nursing home. So we take our trusty calculator, we go 1 divided by 17, That means 5.9% of the population over the age of 65 resides in a long-term care facility. 6%, that's it, 6%. That means 94% of the population over 65 does not reside in a long-term care facility. Now, you can even say, I wonder if they'll do if we can do, hold on a sec. So 13% of Americans who are over 65 are over the age of 85. So what we'd have to do there to figure that out is we'd say we'd be 13% of 16%. So basically be times 0.13 times 0.17%, excuse me. So 2.2% of people who are, of the population is over the age of 85 years old. And let's just say the entirety of everyone residing in a nursing home is over the age of 85. That means less than 1/2 of the people who are over the age of 85 are residing in a nursing home. You see how small the likelihood you're going to be residing in a nursing home? You see that just from there alone? Yes, you do. All right, let's keep going because there's even more gravy here. Oh, it just drives me up the wall. All right, so let me see. I don't want to say anything about COVID because, I don't want to get banned, but nursing home deaths account for nearly 4 in 10 of COVID deaths. Yeah, but yet no one's in jail for that. It was freaking idiot Cuomo, the dude in Hogan, the dude in Pennsylvania. Was it Wolf? Is that the guy up there? The dude in freaking Massachusetts, Baker, Janet Shills, the dude up in Michigan, the chick up in Michigan, half-wit, Wisconsin. Why are none of these people in jail? Freaking nuts. They can all kiss my big fat behind. Let's keep going. So here's where Folio got his number about 70%. Usage of long-term care, 70%. 70% of people turning age 65 will need some type of long-term care in their lifetimes. Oh my goodness! And what they do is they equate that to needing a nursing home, which is idiotic. 48% of people turning 65 who will need some type of paid care. 48% of people turning age 65 will need some type of paid care, which means that 50% of the people who need some type of long-term care don't have it, or 33% of the people who need some type of long-term care have it from their wives, essentially, is what that's saying. That's what's happening right here. They have it from a non-paid source, all right? So 48% of people turning 65 will need some type of paid long-term care. 24% of people turning 65 will require paid long-term care for more than, 2 years? Oh. So only less than a quarter of people turning the age of 65 will require long-term care, paid long-term care for more than 2 years. That's interesting. Why would that be? Because the most expenses that you have are the last 2 years of your life. So 75% of the people who need paid long-term care won't have it for more than 2 years. Interesting, is it not? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's keep going. 15% percentage of people turning age 65 will spend more than 2 years in a nursing home. That's it. So only 24% of people turning 65 will require paid long-term care for more than 2 years. And only 15% of people turning 65 will spend more than 2 years in a nursing home. Only 15%. 3.7 is the average duration of long-term care need. Remember, long-term care doesn't mean synonymously you're in a nursing home. And again, remember, only 70% of the population needed any kind of long-term care. Less than half of the population needed any kind of paid long-term care. The average duration was 3.7 of long-term care need for women. And remember, the averages always skew it towards the outliers. So you have 2 or 3 people at 1, 2, and 3 years each, and then you have someone at 15 years. It's going to skew the average way out here. It's a median we should be looking at, but the average is scary. It sells a better story. It's scary. Like, oh my goodness, the average, the average duration of long-term care need was 3.7 years for women. Oh my goodness. Men is only 2.2 years because the men get taken care of their wives, and then the wives go on mostly, like my mom, she's got skilled care. I'll say skilled care. She has certified nursing assistants coming in to help her, basically do basic chores because she's in a wheelchair. She can't transfer and all that stuff. 68% of people who stay in long-term care facilities are women. All right, so again, only 15% of people turning the age of 65 will spend more than 2 years in a nursing home. 68% of the people in a long-term care right now are women, and only 1% of the entire population is in a long-term care facility as it is. All right, let's see. Keep going for paying for this. 63% is the estimated percentage of individuals age 65 today who will have no out-of-pocket long-term care expenses during their lifetimes. 2/3 almost of the population who are over the age of 65 will have no out-of-pocket long-term care. So again, 70% of the people will have some type of long-term care, all right? 63% of those people will have no out-of-pocket long-term care cost. 13% estimated percentage of individuals age 65 who incur out-of-pocket long-term care between a penny and $50,000. Oh, so 63% of the people over 65 will have no out-of-pocket long-term care cost. 13% will have less than 50,000 schmackaroonies. You take 63, you add 13, that's 76%. More than 3/4 of the population will have long-term care between $0 and $50,000. 11% will have costs between $50 and $150. Someone should write a book on this. Oh, yeah, I did. I wonder if that's where Christine finally woke up to get the numbers, because I did write a book on it. 11% will have costs between $50 and $150,000. All right, so we take 63, we add 13, and we add 11. 63 plus 13 plus 11. 87% of the population will have less than $150,000 of out-of-pocket cost. 87%. 4% will have long-term care costs between $150,000 and $250,000. 9% will have costs of more than $250,000. You hear that? Just text my wife, because when the wife texts, you better text back, especially given it 24 years tomorrow. August 31st, your old buddy Josh, 1999, got married to old Charlotte Rooney, and now she's Charlotte Scanlon. I had thought about changing my last name to Josh Rooney, as a matter of fact. I didn't. We had thought about that, but I said, let's just go the old traditional way, and she can change her name. 24 years, man. We started dating in 1993, dated off and on, had many a break from 93 to 99, and then we finally said, let's do this, baby. And she goes, I will. I said, really? She goes, yeah. It'll be fun. We already owned a house together at that point. We were living in sin, if you know what I'm saying. Actually, it's funny because we went to the Catholic Church, and we said we'd like to volunteer. And this is where Catholics kick ass. And before stupid Pope Francis, and they said, no, you can't. In terms of we can volunteer, but not. But I forgot what it was. We were trying to volunteer to be a mentor for kids, or I forgot what it was. Because we can't have people living out of marriage and being a mentor. And they weren't mean about it. They said we just can't. I said, no, I appreciate it. Good respect. That's the thing, man. The old ways, we got to bring it back, man. To say, no, we can't have this. Like the SBC, Southern Baptist Convention. They voted like 99-1 to not allow women pastors. And that's the way it's got to be. You got to look. I don't like Paul in the Bible necessarily. He's got some good stuff in there. I think Paul, let's just put it this way. I have my doubts about Paul. Let me put it like that. But there are some good stuff in there. And if you're going to be a adherent to Paul's writings, you shouldn't have women pastors. It's just a fact, man. And anyway, we can argue Paul all day long for sure. But, if you're going to have you got to keep a standard. You got to have a standard in the SBC. Because remember, Russell Moore, I think what a clown. He went to the SBC as a president. He was trying to make it all like cool to cool kids. And you got like Rick Warren and Tim Keller. And I don't know I know what Rick Warren was. And he said, we're going to leave. We're our church if you don't allow women pastors. And they said, see ya. It's freaking fantastic. That's such a good thing. Then you got like Tim Keller, R.I.P., but Tim Keller was kind of like the same kind of thing. Even kind of Andy Stanley down here. It's kind of like, everybody just, come on, there is no standard. I'm like, you got to have standards. And then John Piper went nuts, dude. And I'm Catholic, man. But I think is John Piper even still around? I don't know. But he went nuts on, I was like, all right, John Piper, you suck. Oh, so mad. And I don't know about Tim Keller on that. But even Andy Stanley's like, nah, dude, it's all, and I like Andy Stanley. But it's like, I haven't listened to him for a long time. But I did come across something from him about 6 months or so on the 57 flavor stuff. I said, man, there's got to be a standard. And that's crazy. All right, so let's just go back here. I forgot where we left off. All right, so 4% of the people will spend between $150 and $250 of their lifetimes. All right, which insinuates that 7% of the people will spend between more than 250. All right, well, that's gonna be Susie Orman's wife, remember, or wife, Susie Orman's mom. Remember, she's like, I'm paying $1 million a month for my mom. Okay, that's gonna be them. You're not gonna spend that much. Now, the people, the 4% of the population who spends between 150 and 200, how do you fund that? Oh, by the way, you sell your house. Even if you spend $600,000, how do you fund that? You sell your house. That's what happens here, man. It's just that simple. Remember, just because 6% of the population or something like that, or 7% is going to spend over 250, it could be $289. That's it. In fact, they say even right here, $321,000 is estimated lifetime cost of care for someone with dementia. $321,000. So it's still on the low end of the 250 spectrum, if that makes sense. I think they got a number of people with dementia. 3%. Oh, see, this Alzheimer's. They're saying they're kind of using Alzheimer's dementia. 3%. 17% of the people who are right here. 32% of the people aged 85 plus have Alzheimer's dementia. All right, 32%. That means you have to survive to your 85, A, and then B. 68% of you aren't even going to have Alzheimer's dementia. All right, the whole point is just so freaking stupid. If you're letting long-term care ruin your retirement plan, you're wrong. It just infuriates me because the numbers are overwhelming for anyone to freaking take 2 seconds to look at it, as opposed to fear-mongering crap. Ugh. All right, if these videos help you, you like the work I'm doing to resolve your retirement planning anxiety, buy me a coffee. It's the doobie doop, man. Buy me a coffee. No one's bought me a coffee for a couple days, and I need my decaf. All right. Love your thoughts. We'll see you.